This is the part where you say,
Very well played. Nicely done there.
Nice.
I was just running my speed test to see. I guess I need to reboot my modem or something. I don't know. It's jittery.
You're looking better now.
Yeah. John's got his little 14 baud modem.
Yes.
Yeah.
don't say bod, he'll start talking about his diet program.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a new couch. That's fun.
Woo!
Yay!
Right.
Yeah, we bought it like a month ago, and it's supposed to show up sometime between 1 and 5 today, which probably means it'll show up like tomorrow. But if I'm lucky, it will actually show up closer to 1 than 5 today. So that'll be nice. The really fun part about that though is I convinced my daughter that she wanted to help me clean out from underneath the old couch this morning. So we moved all the pieces of that couch out of the way and found like a year and a half worth of toys down there.
Nice.
And
Christmas
It's
time.
like
yeah,
Christmas.
exactly. We found a fairly sizable Lego set, a Star Wars Rebels Lego set that we'd been missing for quite some time now. It was just sitting there, perfectly put together, perfectly fine, underneath the couch, covered in dust bunnies and everything else.
Nice.
So that was my adventure this morning. Then we're replacing an old sectional couch, so I took one of the sections, managed to pick it up on my own and carry it out the front door and into the garage. But the other section that we're getting rid of is way too heavy, so I'm hoping that I can talk the people that moved the new couch into moving that old couch into the garage for me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they will. They probably do that kind of stuff all the time, but
Yeah. I know someone who can talk them into doing it. His name is Abraham Lincoln. Soon to
Totally.
be Harriet Tubman.
Soon to be Harry Tubman. Yeah, I thought about that. I don't know. I'll see what they say and I'll figure it out. But otherwise, I had one more total of 4 full payments for Watch Me Code this week.
Awesome.
It was pretty awesome. It was a person that had been a member last year, actually, and they came back and renewed their membership at full price. And I talked to you guys about this on the mailing list, but the feedback that they gave me was pretty spot on for the kind of target that I'm trying to hit. They talked about the what the guy said basically was Pluralsight sucks because they're dry and boring and there's no personality in it. There's just a ton of content. And he was a subscriber of TechPub back in the day,
Yeah.
and I very much kind of tried to model what I do off of what TechPub was way back when, and then putting my own spin on things, of course. So that was pretty cool to hear. Definitely an angle that I want to play up in the marketing side of things.
Definitely.
But then that Talk.2 thing that I have installed as well has also had a couple of good things happen this week. Even though I missed both of the conversations because I wasn't online, I had 2 people contact me through there. One of them was basically asking, "Hey, what if I don't like the episodes? Can I get a refund?" It's like, "Oh, okay. I must not have made that apparent in the guarantee that I have sitting on the subscription page." So I went to the page and just rewrote things to make it very clear, very obvious. For any reason, if you don't like this, if you want your money back, whatever the reason is, you'll get your money back. You got 30 days to get it back. And I also was thinking about Josh's email recently about the refund timeline. I think that was an email, or was that a conversation that we had?
Yeah, no, that was an email this week.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna bump up the refund time window from 30 days to 90 days or something. I think that might help push a few more people over the edge because 30 days can be a little iffy when people are know that they're going to be a little bit busy. So 90 days is going to be a lot better, a lot easier to see. Okay, I really do have plenty of time to get in and see if this is really worth it or not.
Plus, it's so much fun to process those refunds when you actually have to send someone a PayPal payment.
Yeah, I am not doing the double your money back guarantee. That's,
Yeah.
I'm
I'm like, damn it, Josh! I have to pay a PayPal fee. I gotta, but
Yeah.
no, but he's right. He's right. You know, the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
thing about that refund thing, also extending it beyond 30 days, is people are more likely to forget
Yeah,
about the refund period if it's like 90 days or a year because they
right.
have plenty of time. Whereas if it's 30
Yeah.
days, some people when they get a 30-day, I mean, hell, I do it, right? If
Yep.
I have 30 days refund, the first thing I do is put a reminder on my calendar.
Right.
Yeah.
It's 5 days before the
7
window.
or 14 days is even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm like immediately, I log in. If it's a 7-day trial, I log in and I'm like, I give it 30 seconds, and if it's not knocking my socks off,
Yep.
it's refund instantly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is you don't sign up, right? Like it's like there's probably a few things. What was it?
Oh yeah.
Just recently I was like, oh, I don't want to sign up yet because I'll only have 7 days and I'm not ready
Yes,
to dive
exactly.
in.
There's
Whereas if you have 90
Yep.
days, then you're like, well, okay, I'll sign up now and it's fine. Or even 30 days, it's a little bit like
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to sign up because I don't want to start using my 30 days yet.
There's a
Right.
membership site that I would like to check out that is, I think it's 48 hours. And I'm like,
Ooh.
all right, well,
wow.
I'm going to have to block off a weekend
Yeah.
and like plan to dig in and see if this stuff's worth paying for
Right.
me. So, yeah, that's just bad.
Yeah.
I think, Derek, in your case, it makes 90 days is probably good.
Mhm.
Like a full year, since it's a year membership, somehow that
Mhm.
just seems like a problem to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will let you be a part of this. Do everything you want for a full year, and then give you your money back. No.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
90 days seemed like a pretty good balance. I thought about doing more than that, but my brain settled on 90 days, and
Yeah.
the big thing that I need to do, which is going to take me like all of 10 minutes, is find a new guarantee stamp logo icon image, because I've got the one I have right now says 30 days on it.
Oh.
I got that from Deposit Photo, and I still have a crap ton of credits on there, so I'll just go find a 90-day one on there,
Yeah.
and then
Derek-
just replace the text.
The guy who was asking about this, was he on? You said your subscription page. Is that the pricing page? Because I think I saw in the screenshot you sent. Okay, yeah. So just
You should put big neon signs. Right
Yes.
here.
Exactly.
Right there.
yeah.
Yeah, so there was that guy, and then the other conversation that I had, which this person did leave their email address, so I was able to email them back. That person was concerned about the 1 year membership. He asked if there was an option for a monthly, to which I replied no, but if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Be happy to address them. And he responded to that with, well, I'm really just looking for this one specific series right now, and I wanted to buy that. Like, oh, okay, well that's a series. It's my current in progress series that he wanted. So like, okay, let me just go add that to my download bundle sale list right now. Here you go. I've added that. I'm still planning another episode or two, but if you buy it now, you'll get the updates as they come out.
That's great.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's going to end up buying or not. That was just a couple of emails that we had back and forth over the last couple of days. But that feedback as well makes me think that I need to be spending a little more time on the marketing side to let people know that there are options other than the annual membership. You can get to the individual bundle sales. And like Chuck said in the email list, I think the idea of pushing people towards the bundle sales and then getting a bundle sale into a drip sequence that will help them, look at more bundles and eventually lead them to the annual membership because you've already spent X amount of dollars. Why not at this point? I think that's a pretty good idea.
One thing that occurred to me after I sent that email, just talking here, is that if when they sign up for the bundle, you say, and enter your email address here to get a walkthrough of what you just bought. So essentially, it's you just bought the RabbitMQ bundle. I'll send you 3 emails over the next week that show you how to get all the information out of it and where everything is.
Right.
I would just do that anyway. I would just
Yeah.
do that by default.
Yeah, but then you get them on your mailing list, and then you can, how did the RabbitMQ thing go? Do you want to check out Express Architecture or whatever?
I had that specifically for the RabbitMQ bundle. It had the lowest percentage of opens and interaction of any emails that I've ever sent.
Interesting.
Well, okay. Well, I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
It might just be the emails that you're sending. Like instead of making them like a walkthrough, if you do the same if you basically market the product to them after they've bought it, I think you'd have a much better engagement rate. Does that make sense? So if the content's the same type of content we're going to write for the JavaScript this course,
right?
It's just now following up on the RabbitMQ,
right? And
you're like basically reselling the value of it and pointing them to where they can get the information.
Yeah. The other thing that you can throw in there is you could also say, hey, you're going to get 3 emails about how to use the course, and then a 4th email with some bonus content or something.
Right.
And that way they're looking for those emails and excited to read them.
Or you could just do there's more. There's
more.
Just
wait.
Send them something like
call now and I'll give you one for free.
Some kind of bonus that just goes just like, by the way, here's this free kitten that I happen to have on my doorstep, and it's yours now.
Yeah.
I love you, and here you go.
Oh my gosh, I love the kitten.
If you give them something unexpected, then
you're
going to open that email.
Yes.
Right.
They're going to look for more emails from you.
Yes, I agree 100%.
And make a little sound clip in there that goes, Buffalo!
Buffalo!
Just to get him trained.
Oh, I need that.
Nice.
Perfect.
There we go.
So yeah, overall it's been a pretty good week for Watch Me Code. The community on Slack is not as active as it has been in the past. There's been kind of radio silence for a little while. I'm trying to spark conversation and continue pushing people forward and getting conversation rolling, but it's slowed down a bit, and I'm a little bit worried about that. I am getting a couple new people a week joining still, so I think there's still a lot of potential there. I'm debating whether or not I want to send an invite for the Slack community to the people that are on that are going to watch the webinar that I'm doing on Monday. And I'm leaning toward no at this point because I want the Slack community to be part of the value of the Watch Me Code subscription. But I kind of want to get you guys' input on that.
One thing you could do, I think probably I wouldn't do that, but you could go into Drip and run a report and find everyone who's not a customer who has like the highest lead score.
Yeah. And
invite those people.
That's an interesting idea.
Those people are already super engaged. I think for them that the community probably, I don't know, it might not be a huge tipping, bonus that's going to tip the scales for them if they haven't already bought. So
right.
And you could literally make it like a, this is a VIP invite. I've found you're one of the top 100 people on my list, and I wanted to do this special thing, and that might help. I think also you're probably just running into summertime.
Yeah, I kind of. There seems to be a lot of people heads down in projects, and if the community continues to grow, then there will be less downtime overall because there will be more people that will be in between projects and stuff.
There's got to be a critical mass.
Right. But overall, I think it's going fairly well. There's been a fair amount of conversation this morning. I sparked a few conversations, and my YouTube video that I just published like an hour ago mentions the Watch Me Code Slack again, and so I posted that into the Slack channel for people to watch. Otherwise, I guess I'm still working on all this marketing stuff for the Watch Me, or the JavaScript discourse that Josh and I are doing, and I may actually be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of the work and the benefit coming out of this. I sent you guys an email with the day zero, with a revision of the day zero email, the intro email, which I read it over again this morning, and I'm pretty darn happy with the way this has turned out. I've made a fair amount of changes since I sent it to you guys already, but just the way it reads, the way it flows, the way it moves from the story into the overall theme of the email course being, you don't know the fundamentals, but here's this one that I'll teach you.
Derek has fully embraced the single sentence paragraph dark side as well.
I have. You've completely, totally corrupted me, man. I swore up and down like a year ago that I would never do that, and here I am.
Yep. I haven't read it in depth yet. I've scanned through it, and I think it is looking really solid. So
good.
We'll have to take a closer look at it for our next call.
Yeah, our next call. I started working on the day one email as well, which is going to be a story about. It's a story that I've never told anywhere, so that's
cool.
good. But it's the story about how when I first got my contract with Pragmatic Programmers to do my Backbone screencasts, how I completely, totally embarrassed myself and fell flat on my face. I spent like 30 minutes trying to get JavaScript's this keyword to work correctly in a specific scenario in my screencast.
All recorded.
Yeah, and I was recording all of this as I was building this. I mean, I knew this wasn't going to be the final production material, but my editor wanted me to record all of this so he could get an idea of what was going on and help me formulate the final script that we were gonna build. And it was awful, you know. I'm supposed to be the JavaScript and Backbone expert, and here I am fumbling all over myself trying to get this to work for like 30 minutes. It was terrible.
You should make like a spoof clip of that. That'd be awesome. Like,
yeah.
Like we were like, yeah. Just all these outtakes, and you're like, this.
I might still have that old screencast. I wonder if I can find.
Oh my gosh.
That old material. If I could, I could get a clip out of there, drop that as an unlisted video on YouTube, and send people from the email directly to that or something.
Well, yeah. So you could take that, and then like the parts where you're frustrated, then you could just record clips that would go in there, right? So you could insert them in, and then make the whole like a montage of, you know, where you get the screw ups in the actual screencast, and then, you know, zoom in on your new clips that you add.
Totally do Mystery Science Theater 3000 on it. I have the little outline, the silhouettes of us or whoever down below watching me screw things up so bad and calling me an idiot. And we'll call it
function scope, idiot.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And instead of Mystery Science Theater 3000, it would be Mystery JavaScript Theater Nan.
I love it. We had somebody complain this week because we sent out their email and their name was undefined. They were pretty nice about it. I think there was a Thrive. It might have been like a Thrive-related error or something.
I've got another one on Twitter from this morning that someone posted there. There's a few of them. We should probably like cleanse the database and like look. For
search for everyone with whose name is undefined. I'll make a note. Yeah. I'll make a note about that. You can just unset the name field.
So yeah.
Radio silence.
Yeah.
They wish their name was undefined.
I know, right?
I'm gonna
So
just
I've
name
got
my
half a
next
desk.
kid Noel.
I've got half a desk back here.
Half a desk?
How is
Oh
that?
yeah, you guys
We
can't
can't
Yeah.
see it.
there.
Oh,
Oh,
there
okay.
you
You partially assembled.
They sent me.
Yes.
Well, I don't actually have the rest of the
Oh,
parts. They sent it in like 4 packages. They sent me 2 packages yesterday.
go.
So I was like,
nice.
okay.
All right.
It's a drip sequence, John. They're gonna drip it
Yes.
out to you over the next 7 days. You'll get one part per day.
Exactly.
It's actually not a bad idea. Like because if they sent me all of it, I might have been like, But since they sent me just one piece, I was like, well, I'll just get that part put together.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I've got a question for you guys. So I'm working on the Patreon thing for YouTube, and I was putting together the page and stuff, and I was trying to think about like what to like, how to do this, and if I want to do this. And at first I was like, well, my kind of goal, like, target would be I want to be able to hire more people, to be able to do more stuff and spread more goodness, expand the capabilities. But as I was thinking about it, it doesn't. I don't know. It's sort of like an unfocused plan. So anyway, here's what I'm getting at. What I'm thinking of is making the Patreon campaign for Simple Programmer for YouTube. And I think I should do one, but I'm open to hear why not. But what I want to do at this point is focus it totally around the idea of getting rid of ads on the Simple Programmer YouTube channel, because I feel like that will be something that, because there's always that whole issue of, well, you're selling stuff on Simple Programmer, so are you accepting donations? And then you say, no, it's not a donation, it's patronage. There's a difference, right? So, which, I mean, a lot of people have tip jars and stuff, but and the YouTube content is free, and it is a negative ROI as far as we can. I mean, I'm sure we get referrals, but as far as like straight up costs, ads on Simple Programmer YouTube generate $450 a month, but production costs are probably like about $1,000 a month, not including my time to shoot 2 videos a day. So what I'm thinking is that the best way to rally people around and to get people to actually patron the Simple Programmer channel would be to say, when we hit a certain amount of, maybe it's like $2,000 a month, we'll knock off ads. So Simple Programmer YouTube channel will no longer have ads. So that's what I'm thinking. And then all of the copy and all of the kind of targeting and all the message for the whole, like, why you should become a patron is all based on this idea that, you don't want to have ads.
Right.
What are the different levels? Is it like $1 a month? Can you go that low, or? Yeah,
you can
literally
donate
any amount.
literally any amount. You can set your own reward levels. So for $1, you're a good person. For $5, you get a thank you. For $10, you get whatever. But then you can go to the aggregate level as well. If I make X amount a month, I'll do this. If I make Y amount a month, I'll do that. So I like it. I really like your idea, John.
Yeah.
I think your direction sounds good, and I think you can take it even further by saying, okay, if I make X a month off of this, then I'll get rid of all the ads on YouTube. If I make Y a month, twice whatever X was, I'll take all the ads off of simpleprogrammer.com.
Right.
You just keep upping the ante to get rid of ads and get rid of the things that kind of sort of make you money but distract from the real content and real value that you provide. Find whatever those things are, whatever those distractions are, and make and set the Patreon, however you pronounce it, levels to get rid of those things one at a time.
Okay, yeah, I mean, there's no ads on simpleprogrammer.com right now.
Okay.
I mean, we're obviously probably going to get some kind of sponsorship. But
yeah,
but
you have in the past. That's why I thought you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we took down. We had like some of those really low dollar backfill
Spammy
type
thing.
of yeah. So we got rid of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking, is to do it that way, and then that makes sense. And then it's like it's instead of, because the other option too is like to have sponsorship for YouTube channel, but rather have the audience sponsor the YouTube, and then that'll be better than ads. I mean, the $450 a month off of ads is not a lot. So if you could replace that, I think with patronage you could probably, off of the same traffic, have maybe $2,000 a month, and so that is more profitable, and you're not showing ads, and you've got sort of a rallying cause, as opposed to just saying, hey, if you like this free stuff, give money.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving them something. And there'd be reward levels and stuff. One thing I was going to do was put like, maybe make one extra video a week that is only available to the
Yep.
patrons of a certain level.
Right.
I did have one idea of, I don't know if Patreon does this, because you can either do monthly or you can do it by video or by content.
Right.
So I thought about like setting up, say, donate 10 cents per video. Are you willing to pay 10 cents per video, or a quarter a video? And since I'm putting out 2 to 3 videos a day, that would actually be a decent amount of money.
Right.
But at 10 cents a video, it's not very expensive. But I think the monthly route is probably the best way to go, because I think the other route will be confusing to people.
Do you think they're going to bring in enough money to actually make it worth the extra work of managing it?
Well, so that's the other thing, is I want to make it as light as possible. I've looked at some of the Patreon channels, and some of them are like just like crazy amounts of stuff at the different levels that they're doing, and I'm not interested in that. So that's why the ad thing, I think, works so well too, is because the thing you're getting is the ad free,
Right.
But creating an extra video a week is probably, at the higher tier, not much effort, and then I think, I don't know. I mean, there's almost 27,000 subscribers to the Simple Programmer YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that, I mean, let's see that.
You should get a fair number of people willing to support you.
Yeah, I think even I imagine just on the first push that getting 500 patrons would probably be like a reasonable expectation. If they only were $1, then that's going to be at least as good as the ads.
Right.
And I'd have to set the goal level to be at like $2,000 a month, I think, to get rid of ads at this point, because it has to be more than significantly more. So that
yeah.
But I think it should be fun. I think, like, and again, this is an angle that I feel more comfortable with, rather than pitching people, because then it's a specific thing that you're buying, essentially, or that you're contributing towards. So.
Okay, John, I have to interrupt you for a second and say you have some white thing hanging off of your chin, and it's driving me crazy.
I have to talk, and then I can see.
It's there you go. It's still hanging there. Still hanging there.
Just a bit of cocaine.
There we go. All right.
There we go.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't not look at the dumb thing.
That's what you get for having a huge monitor, Derek.
Yes, exactly.
He hadn't shaved. It was a gray hair.
Yes.
So
I've got like 6 of those.
So one other thing I want to kind of push back a little bit on this too is, have you considered just doing some sort of membership so that instead of doing the patronage Patreon through a third-party system, setting up some kind of membership on Simple Programmer that's like Simple Programmer Extras, and then let people know when we have so many subscribers, then we'll turn these ads off or do this or that. It just feels like you might be giving up some control.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I think with that is you want to be able to have like dollar level subscribers. I think that Patreon does really well, and you're still producing the free content. Like,
That's
I mean,
true.
we could go to a membership and have paid. I've thought about. I mean, one thing I have considered is, what if I stop doing. I mean, I'm pumping out 2 to 3 YouTube videos a day. a lot of people really like to watch these videos. So what if I just took the whole thing and stopped making it free, and made it just a $10 a month membership, and then there's maybe a few free videos that came out every month or so to get people into it. But I don't know. I mean, if I did that, I'm sure a lot of people would jump and say, okay, I'm going to go over to this paid one. I don't want to miss out on videos. But I don't know. But I think that the traffic generation. I mean, right now on YouTube, we just clicked over every month or every 28 days, we get over 200,000 video views.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's way more than the website at this point. So I think for a traffic source, so I'd rather keep all that stuff free as a traffic generation source, and then if we can still make money out of it. So yeah, Patreon, you're losing some of the control, but you also have an ease of, and discoverability that I think is worth it. And it's hard. I think it'd be hard to manage. I'm trying to think how you would do it on your own and still get the same effect. It seems like it'd be worth paying for the service that Patreon provides, doing all the billing and all the getting the people and having the reward levels and the goals.
And look at it this way: the Patreon can be an experiment.
Derek, we're gonna have to figure out how to pronounce that at some point.
It's Patreon.
I'm gonna say Patreon because
Patreon.
I'm gonna say Patton Oswalt. So the Patton Oswalt thing could be an experiment that will tell you whether or not a subscription service would be worth it.
True.
So
that's exactly how I'm thinking of it, actually.
Well, and mostly I'm pushing back to sort of understand better what trade-offs you want and what outcomes you want, and so that gives me some idea.
So from my perspective, I support, I don't know, a dozen people and organizations on Patton Oswalt, and I can't help but laugh. But for all of them that I do support, only one of them does per release of it's an online magazine, and I don't like that. I don't like the way they do that. They release one every 3 weeks, which, I mean, I'm totally fine. I love the content that they produce, so I'm happy to support them, but I don't like that I sometimes get charged once a month, sometimes get charged twice a month. It bothers me. It's not even a large amount of money. It's $5 per issue that they release, and it's totally worth the money. But it's just that it screws up my head somehow because of that. I much prefer the just once a month. I know what I'm paying that month. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree.
But okay. I think overall the general idea of setting those levels to get rid of ads, people that support you with $5 a month or $10 a month or whatever get one private video a week that will only go out to those people. Doing something like that to give them something special and kind of use that as an experiment to see if it would be worth putting together your own subscription service to do this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I just know that there are membership plugins for WordPress that may get you partway there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense allowing people to do it at whatever level they want, and yeah, just kind of set up the incentives so that if they really want whatever the next thing is, fewer ads or you add some other feature to the website or something, then they can donate more.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a better a focus than, because I mean I could just make a regular Patreon campaign and just say whatever contribute to help Simple Programmer. At first I was going down the road of saying to help us expand, to hire more people, to grow, but to me that's as I was thinking about it more, it's not focused enough. If I just make it all around one mission around getting rid of the ad, mostly around that, and then we could have different goals and levels. But if the first push is to get rid of ads, then it's a very clear message. It's a very clear thing of what you're paying for, essentially, and I think then it's an easier
I think so too. And long term or medium term, maybe you might do something like pay me $100 a month, and I will spend one time. I'll spend an hour with you on Skype to talk about whatever you need to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
You know, do some big number a month, and you'll get that 1 hour with me. And just do it once, not once a month for that big number, just a one time. So have some crazy levels out there where it's the whole 80-20 curve. There's going to be somebody in your list that is willing to throw $500 at you in order to get that hour or whatever the thing is that you put out on the really high end of that.
Yep. Yeah, like $10,000 a month. I will train you for an MMA fight.
Exactly.
You will be like Rocky, and I will be your
And for $20,000 a month, I will help you move to San Diego and personally train you outside my house every day.
I've gotten several emails now with disciples. It's almost like Fight Club. They want to come and work out and run with me,
Nice.
And so I'm thinking about like setting up this thing, like this program.
First rule of Sanmez Club is you don't talk about Sanmez Club.
I'll tell you, I want to come and I want to run with John and watch the women watch John.
There we go.
Watch me, watch women, watch John.
That's right.
Love it. You can call him
There's
John.
just something about that body fat percentage, right?
Exactly.
Just right there. Then.
John's Lemmings, we'll call you.
I'll tell you, like yesterday, I was running, and I was like, and I was just running by, and then there's just like 3 chicks out on the beach, and they're like trying to get my attention, just wave. I'm like, fine. I was like, all right, here we go, wave.
I love how I'm making fun of John, and he's just like, yeah, that happens.
He's just rolling with it.
Yeah, it's just yesterday. It's just an average Wednesday.
It's always some weird. There's always some. I always have some weird story. Every time I come back from a run now, it's like there's some weird thing happens.
That's the SoCal culture, man.
That's it.
Yeah, he comes in and gives his wife a chick count.
Keep it running total on the refrigerator, and if you get up to a certain number, you get to go buy the next shorter Speedo.
I told you guys the last time I don't know if I told you about the whole bachelorette party they were having, and they're like,
I don't think you did.
oh, I was running by, and there was like this, maybe like 10 or 15 girls that had rented some place in Mission Beach there. And they're, the first time I ran by, like, a couple of them were like, hey, and then when I came back running the other way, they're like, hey, could you stop for a second? Could you come over here? Could you come take a picture with us? We're doing a bachelorette party. So they're like, okay, could you flex your muscle, and then we'll.
I can see this. I can see this getting out of hand quickly.
Yes, very quickly.
Oh, come on. This is email copy gold, Josh.
But
we are all nothing but fodder for Josh's email.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely.
Of course, it took him writing his email about me for it finally to sink in what he was saying. I was like, yeah, and that's right in line with what I want to do anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
I just hadn't gotten as concrete as that.
Right.
Yesterday, I had a phone call with a guy that we're hoping to team up with him to do like a white label product for Simple Programmer, and he was like, so I have this problem with my course, and it's because I have to. He said it's like about timing. I'm like, stop. I know exactly what you're gonna say. Go to my blog, read the top article. He's like, yes, this is exactly my problem. So he has the same exact situation where he has to catch people at exactly the right time, or they're not interested.
Yeah.
So it's like they're like 100% bleeding neck interested, or they just couldn't care less.
Yep.
Man, our viewer count just jumped up. We've got like live viewers.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Hi everyone.
It's the whole bachelorette party just knocked.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
So I have some stuff that I'm trying to figure out with sponsorships. I talked a little bit last week about the whole financial situation here.
Yeah.
So I actually lined up a sponsor for June for one of my open spots, and they're paying me today, and yeah, they're getting the month of June, which is kind of nice because it solves part of the problem for me. I also have decided to take Josh's advice and try and book for Q3 and Q4. I'm working to make it as painless as possible for my sponsors, my current sponsors, because some of them I don't know if they can pay 2 quarters ahead.
Right.
I don't know if they can get approval for that. I know that Hire.com, which is kind of the big one, they actually paid for 2 quarters at a time last time, so I'm figuring that'll work. But with some of these other ones, I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm asking them to commit to the renewal now, and then I'm just going to send them 2 invoices, and one will be due a couple months down the line. And I'm hoping that that'll work for them. I've also decided, though, that I want to try and do mid-roll ads like we do in this show, because all of mine are at the beginning. And I've had some of the companies complain about conversions, and I'm wondering if mid-rolls would help. But I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Back to the original, the first point of getting the commitment. The danger you face there is they commit now, but then they back out later. Unless you have like some kind of legal contract that says they're going to, it's slightly dangerous.
Yeah, because you're basically booking your time on their, or your space on their word.
Right.
So
it puts all of the danger in your basket and none on theirs.
Yeah. Here's what I'm looking at doing, and then maybe you can tell me I'm still wrong. But when I book them for the next quarter, which is July, August, September, I'm sending them invoices now that are basically due in a couple of weeks, and that's the way that I've always done it. For Q4. If they want to pay it all up front, then I'm going to encourage them to do that. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them an invoice that's due the middle to end of July. And that way, if they don't pay it by then I'll follow up one more time and I'll say, look, you either have to pay me within a week or 2, which gets them to the end of July, middle of August. And if they don't do it, then I'm going to try and book somebody else. And that gives me 2 months to find a replacement.
I like that, and I have another idea to go along with that. Back when I worked for a manufacturing company, we sold all of our products through distributors, and it was always on credit. Every distributor had a standard net terms that they would arrange with the company, and it would be something like, payment due in 60 days, and if you pay within 30 days, you get a 10% discount. So it would always encourage them to pay early because they would get that discount.
Yep.
So in your case, I think you could take advantage of that as well. Bump your prices again, first of all, and then say, okay, payment due in 60 days, 90 days, whatever, and if you pay within 30 days, you'll get a discount back down to this previous level.
Yeah, the problem with that is that I just bumped prices for the current quarter.
Okay, so maybe don't bump them again this time around, but in another quarter or another 6 months or whatever, you can bump them again. But if you can offer them that 10% discount or whatever percent discount that you feel is appropriate, it can encourage them to pay sooner rather than later. But I also like your thoughts on, okay, I'm going to follow up again at this time, and you either pay or I'm going to find somebody else.
Well, I'm not going to tell them I'm going to follow up. I'm just going to send them an invoice with the due date.
Yeah.
And then if then I can be a little bit nice and say, look, I'm planning on finding the rest filling the rest of these spots in about 2 weeks.
Right.
If one thing you should do, I would compile, just get a list of everyone who has advertised with you, and call it your waiting list.
Yeah.
And so put together a little mailing list that you can use when spots open up.
Yeah, I already have that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, just say basically, look, I have a waiting list, so pay me, or this is going to the next person that wants it.
Yeah. And you'll become an anti-sponsor.
Yeah.
I'll either be running your ad mid-roll or this new one that I've just made for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got about 40 or 50 companies that I email every time I have podcast sponsorship openings.
Okay, so I don't know if this is necessarily a good idea, but I'm going to throw it out there. So Dan Kennedy has this trick that he used to recommend to consultants who wanted to get clients in a specific area. And what you do is you go to Staples or whatever, and you buy envelopes. They make these clear envelopes, like see-through. And you write a little letter, and at the top of the letter, you list all of the companies that all the names of the presidents of the companies that you're sending this letter to, and it's like 10 different people, and they're all competitors. And then you tell them, you FedEx this thing out so it gets delivered all on the same day at the same time, and you say, look, I'm taking one person of these 10 people, and the first one to call me and come bearing a check gets the slot. Everybody else is locked out. Some variation of that could be useful for you, especially with landing new slots.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm telling people at this point is, as soon as somebody else says that they're interested in the spot too, then I basically say, well, somebody else is committed. They have a week to pay me, and then if I have a check in hand from you, it's yours.
So along those lines, have you thought about self-service in terms of paying for the quarters and the ads, to where you have a calendar set up? I want to buy this quarter, and here's the buy now button where they put in their credit card info and get charged $10,000 right now, and then after they make that purchase, they work with you to get all the details and everything figured out.
I have thought about that. I kind of have an immediate need right now, and so I've been doing a little bit more higher touch sales.
Yep.
I have thought about doing that, and if I'm booking sponsorships, a quarter out
in advance, makes a little more sense.
Yeah, then I can definitely do that because, there can be a link on there that says,
right,
here's the sponsorship prospectus. I think I'm going to take the prices off that though, and that way I can talk to people. And then, when they come in, then they can buy, or they can talk to me, or they can ask questions, or whatever.
Yeah, so there's lots of interesting things you could do there. If you're going to be booking things a quarter in advance on credit, essentially just a commitment, then the route of net 60, 20% within 10% within 30 days or something, some kind of standard terms of a discount if you pay early is going to get people to pay earlier. You're gonna need some kind of reminder when it gets out a certain distance, though, because if I commit to paying in 90 days, well, 30 days from now I completely forgot about that. 60 days from now, I have no clue what I committed to. So there's a real danger of people not remembering and not paying at that point.
I think, are you using QuickBooks, Chuck?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can set up automated reminders.
I haven't looked, but yeah, that's worth checking out.
You can also just take a deposit where you hope
that's
they flake.
True.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just make it large enough where you hope they flake, because that's always fun. Because then they're basically buying an option contract from you.
Yeah,
I like that.
Which is totally fun.
Yes.
Then you don't stress out, because then you're like, because then if they pay, that's good, and if they don't, that's good too, because then you can fill the spot and you got the money anyway.
Right.
Yep. Yes, I like that.
So it's a non-refundable.
Exactly.
Non-refundable deposit. Yep.
Yeah, it's like make it like 20% upfront.
Yep.
Non-refundable deposit.
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
That's basically like when I was doing my freelancing stuff. Basically, no one had anything on my time until they paid me 50% upfront. And I would go for 100% usually. But yeah, they were not a client. They had no space on my calendar until they plunk down that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might do 30%.
Yeah.
Because a quarter's 3 months, and that
True.
way they're
Yeah, there you go.
they're paying for my month to find somebody else.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
yes, good. That's great. And you can, yeah, exactly.
It's like the rent to own.
Yes. Radio silence.
Yeah. So about the mid rolls, I'm kind
Right,
of curious.
I personally don't think mid rolls are going to get any real conversions for new sponsors, but I think if you gave existing sponsors the option of adding a mid roll, I think that may help an existing sponsor. So I Watch Me Code sponsors JS Jabber, and I get the third spots on the pre-roll, which doesn't convert that well. Well, for an extra $50 or whatever it is, I can also get a mid-roll, which may help to boost my conversion because people are going to hear me twice instead of just once.
Right. I've thought about doing that as a post-roll right before the picks.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I actually have that listed right now on the
problem with the picks is people are listening for that one thing that they really want to go dig into in the picks.
Yeah.
And they're already going to be in that mindset, and they're probably going to ignore the sponsorship just before the picks because even if they really like the idea of what the sponsor was and provides, as soon as you go from that into the picks, they're now focused on the picks. What's the one thing that I want to get out of the picks this week?
Yeah,
sponsored pick.
Yeah, the other thing, that's the way Saran does it on Code Newbie, is she has sponsored picks. One thing that I'm wondering about, though, is that, so at the beginning of the show, it starts out with like 2 minutes or 2 and a little bit minutes of ads, and that's 4 ads.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking if I break that up, then it gives a little bit more air, a little bit more room to those ads. And so if I put 2 of them in as mid-rolls, they all may convert better.
Yeah.
It'd be something to try, but in my experience with mid-rolls, I think they're less effective than pre-rolls. And I think you're going to get a better improvement for a sponsor that is in the pre-roll and mid-roll compared to a sponsor that is just in the mid-roll.
Yeah.
It's something. It would be something to play with. You could approach an existing sponsor and say, "Hey, I'd like to add you to the mid-roll in addition to your current one." Try it as an experiment with a couple of sponsors, and then try it as an experiment with a couple of brand new mid-roll ones, and maybe give these brand new mid-roll sponsors a huge discount as part of an experiment, and let them know that.
Yeah, the thing that I worry about, though, is that because there are already 4 sponsors at the beginning of the show, I hesitate to add more ad reads. If I removed one of them and then put some mid-rolls in for like the gold sponsors or something, that might work.
Yeah.
And then bump the price there a little. I don't know.
The thing is, I wouldn't worry so much about conversions on. Well, again.
Well, I want these to convert for the sponsors.
Well, but again, it comes back to that whole thing that we talked about sponsorship, where a lot of sponsors are not. They're doing what Josh hates, which is building a brand by doing it illustriously, right? A lot of sponsors do that, and so they're not really measuring conversions per se because they're building brand equity, and so that's
they're throwing their money away.
Yeah.
If you want...
and feeling good about it.
Yeah,
that's really the important part.
Yeah, if you want to give mid-roll, give them an extra price that they can pay in order to get that, or that benefit, or if that's going to sell you more sponsorships, but don't be so concerned about the the conversion, because not everyone, I mean, if you go down that road, you're going to assume that people are going to convert. And your best, I would guess, I mean, you know more about this than me, but I would guess that your best sponsors are the ones that are doing what Josh hates, because
they are.
Yeah.
They're
Easily.
always there, and they have huge budgets, and they're just like, man, I've got $25,000 I'm supposed to spend on podcasting, on podcast advertising this quarter. How am I going to spend it? Oh, look, there's a bunch. Oh, this is easy because he's got 5 podcasts, so I'll just, there we go, and I'm done. Now I can go and play golf, right? So I think you want to definitely, those are your primo people that you want to kind of cater to. So yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't be too concerned. I would definitely not make any of your marketing messages or anything around that based on conversion, because
no, it's all around exposure. But
yeah,
so. The issue is that I've had a few sponsors. Usually they're trying to actually convert people off the podcast into paying customers, and then they complain, well, we're not getting enough traffic, or we're not getting enough, we're not having enough people sign up, and I want to make sure that they're getting good value for what they're buying, but sometimes, and like you said, I mean, the sponsors that stick around forever are the ones that aren't looking at those numbers. They're just like, well, people come to us, and they, I've asked a few of the sponsors what their numbers are, and they're just like, and then they send me an email a while later, with some report that they had their DBA run for them.
So what I'm saying is, you want to optimize for those people. So, if ultimately, I mean, like, if you could have the best possible scenario, it would be in time to have like all your slots booked up all the time with regular people who don't care about the numbers, that are just have huge budgets, right? Because then it's low touch, right? You don't have to worry about anything, and they're renewing automatically, and they're paying the premium prices.
The other thing that I figured out is that the real money's in the mailing list for them too. So, for example, Wrangle.io is one of the sponsors for JavaScript Jabber, and they had a webinar that they were trying to promote. And so I sent an email for them, and just talked a little bit about some leveling up stuff and things like that. So I sent the email around, and then I got like 4 or 5 emails back the next day saying, I can't get into the webinar, it's all full.
Nice.
And so, so I'm also thinking, for the people that are worried about tracking conversions, the podcast gives them awareness, and then the mailing list is what gets them the actual traffic.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yep. Yeah, and Chuck, you might actually consider the mailing list, making that an add-on as it grows. Like, it might be initially you might give it to them for free. I don't know, because it's still fairly small, but as it gets bigger, that could be like a really nice.
It's not that small,
deluxe
man.
package.
Jeez. Chuck has gone from 0 to far more than my mailing list in 1 year.
Since the beginning of the year, I've gone from 4,000 to 8,000.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Chuck, when you hit 10K, you could totally release a course about this, and like step 1 of your course will be start 10 really successful podcasts. And then you sell your system,
Exactly.
That's like what I tell
it's
people.
Easy. Yeah.
That's like what I tell people when they're like, well, how do I get a podcast as big as yours? And I say, well, you start about 5 years ago.
Start about 5 years ago. Literally spend all of your free time doing podcasts. Do as many podcasts as you can possibly do, and eventually one of them will stick.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just been interesting. Yeah, I'm really thinking that the email list, for the people who are really concerned about that, it's something that they can add on. Now, I do offer that because I send out an email every week when the episode's released. So those episodes have the podcast sponsors banners in them. I've had 1 or 2 of the sponsors complain because I send out other emails to those lists. With just like advice or things like that. It's kind of like the Josh list, except I'm not very disciplined about it. I'm not doing it every week. And they've complained, our banner's not in that one, and I'm like, oh no, you misunderstood.
Yeah.
That's easy. I can give you the answer to that to them. Is that you say that your engagement increases when you have some non-advertising emails.
Oh, totally.
So
yeah, and
they
that's
actually get benefit from it. That you're not charging them for those extra emails that you're sending out that increase engagement on the emails.
There you go. I like that. You're not charging them extra.
Yeah.
Well, what I tell them is, I'm just like, look, this is how I build my relationship with my audience, and yeah, and then I just basically explain, and then when I tell them to go buy your stuff, they trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the message.
So, yeah. So anyway, one other thing that I'm looking at this point is I'm going to try and get things set up for the webinar series that we talked about before. Hoping to get the sales page up for that today or Monday. I'm trying to figure out the best way to handle that, though, because I'm actually going to be gone for a week and a half, and I'm not sure what kind of internet access I'm going to have. So do I just let all those support requests pile up? Or do I just make sure that Mandy has enough information to answer most of the questions?
Yeah. I would probably go the Mandy route.
Yep.
I think it would be, if you have people that could possibly answer these questions. She might not be able to answer all of them, and that's fine, but she'll be able to handle at least some of them, and this would be a great opportunity to, get her a little bit more training and a little bit more ability to handle these kinds of things for you.
Here's what I would do since you're going to be away, is I would have her give her some basic training on how to handle the support issues, and then every day when you're away, have like a 30-minute phone call with her, and you'll just talk about any of the ones that she didn't know how to answer, and you'll just coach her through it, and then you just do that every day, and then she'll go back and answer them, and then then you won't have to have internet connectivity, then you won't be down in the mud, and you'll still be training her, and she'll be handling what she can handle.
Yeah. All right, one other question, because I that's kind of the way I was leaning. One other question is I've been introduced to Gail Lockman McDowell.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm very familiar with this person.
Who is this person?
She has the
Cracking the Coding interview. She's the author.
Oh, okay.
I can't break that spot. I'm joking because I can't get soft skill. I can't dethrone her from number one. I've been number 2.
Your
I've
competition.
been right behind her, but I cannot. But she's got a wide margin.
Right.
So what I'm wondering is I'm thinking about doing this webinar series. I'm also thinking about doing a webinar with her if I can get her on board. I haven't even emailed her yet. And seeing if I can do a webinar, probably make that one free unless she wants to do some kind of joint venture charge paid thing. I'm just not sure how to approach that.
I would definitely make it free for one thing, because that could explode your list.
Well, and it's a huge credibility booster, and I think that'll pay off more than making people sign up or pay up.
And you can also include that webinar. I would keep that, once you do the webinar, I would keep it as a bonus for your product.
Right.
So it's not like publicly available anymore. It's a one-time deal, and then.
Right, and then just so basically we both retain full publishing rights, and
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she can do whatever she wants with it, and I can do whatever I want with it.
Mm-hmm. And is she savvy, like a marketer at all? Or probably, I'm guessing probably not. But.
So this was actually published by the company that she's the CEO for.
Okay.
And she retains all the rights for it. I'm trying to remember what the company does. The company is careercup.com.
Yeah, it's training but it's not really like, we talked about this before, Josh. There's nothing. It's not marketed well. At least it wasn't. Like there's a lot of money there that's not being made, I think. That's my opinion of it. When because I was in depth studying everything that she was doing for a while when I was putting out soft skills.
Yeah. So I think she probably has some videos or something that she's selling. It looks like, but the careercup.com website isn't exactly clear on. It markets the book. Go buy it on Amazon, but it doesn't actually market anything else on here.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's sort of like a Stack Overflow-ish type of.
Yeah. So it looks like they probably do some kind of coaching or. Oh, there we go. Services: mock interviews, resume review, and acquisition interview consulting.
There might even be some kind of partnership for you there, where like as an upsell on the book or on your product, you have some kind of special deal with her and send people her way.
Yeah.
That could be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, that makes sense. But should I do it as a way to promote and build my list before I do the webinar series, like selling access to my course? Or, yeah.
I would say, so I'm kind of in the same boat here. Like I'm in this awkward space where I know I'm going to do a product for email courses. I'm working on it and I don't have it yet. So what I'm doing is free. I'm doing some free webinars with people. Like a lot of people aren't willing to do free webinars with me. They want to have some kind of product to promote, but I've had several people who are. So I'm just doing webinars with them to grow my list, and that'll all help me when I go to launch.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide if I should, because I was thinking about setting up the sales page and then doing the webinars starting in July, but I'm wondering if I should push that off to August and see if I can get a couple of free webinars out there and build my list that way.
This is on the book, right?
Yeah, the book, and I'm going to do the video webinar series, and yeah, I'm going to finalize the book probably during or a little after I finish the videos. That's what I'm looking at this point.
I mean, if it were me, I just told you what I'm doing, so yeah. I would just go ahead and do the webinars and not couple it to trying to figure out how to jam your launch process into the same funnel.
Yeah.
Just do the webinars. If you get your product launched, great. If not, your mailing list is bigger. Because people will be warmer by the time you launch anyway. So,
unless you're 30% done with the book, I would take Josh's approach. Okay. How far are you along? Have you started writing?
Yeah, I'm a couple chapters in, but they're really rough. I have some ideas on how I want to massage them into something that's a little, it's more of a final product. But yeah, for right now, I'm just kind of throwing it all into the chapter and then realizing that it flows better in a different order and probably needs to be fleshed out a little bit and cleaned up a bit. But
John would say, "Ship it." I typed a word, ship.
It's really, really rough. So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting too. Like I was trying to figure out. I mean, you got to kind of look at Gail's motivation too. She's making millions off of the book, so that's why Career Cup is not like it's.
Oh, because she's making it on the book.
I wouldn't give a half a crap about Career Cup if I were her. If I was, I mean, the book is self-published, and it's the #1 slot, and it's been there for a long time, and it's what, $30, so she's making over $1 million a year on the book, probably a couple million on the book. So.
Oh wow.
So what appeals to her is what I'm saying. This is why I had such a hard time getting hold of her to do any kind of partnership thing, is because what can I offer? Like, it's like, yeah, I've got the only thing that I could offer is to say like, oh, okay, well, that whole big audience that you have, we could sell a $300 product and you could make a fortune. But so I don't know. So motivation is probably like you got to kind of figure out, is this something that she enjoys doing that could be non-monetary.
She also probably doesn't have a big audience. She has a book that has sold many, many copies.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't get in touch with those people, she's got the reputation. If she wanted to go and start an audience online, she could. But like that doesn't really help you at all. My guess is that she wouldn't be able to bring you'd probably get more people from your publicity of it than from hers.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, but it does lend my effort some credibility.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, having the published author that's super successful. I mean, hell, the best thing you could possibly do would be to get her to become a co-author on your book. That would be the best thing that you could possibly do.
Yeah, or get her to write an introduction or something, or forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. Huh. Lots to think about here.
Today is the day of radio silence. We just like have these moments where like whoever's talking has their mind blown, and everyone else is kind of talked out about the topic.
So I can. So I've got some. So I am at like 11,000 words on my book. I've been doing about 1,000 words a day. I'd write 2 Pomodori a day.
Which book is this again?
What did I tentatively call it? I forgot.
It was something about careers or something.
The Complete Software Developer's Career Guide.
That's right.
So I'm thinking it might actually end up being 2 books, one for the beginner side and one for the intermediate side.
I'm kind of toying with that myself, to be honest.
Or like a 2-volume thing or something. I don't know,
or have a companion book for experience.
I've been pretty much pumping out chapters, so we'll see how much. I think there's like 60 chapters or something, and I've got like 5 done. So
I was going to say, how long is it going to take you to write the other 90% of your book at 11,000 words?
I don't know. I don't think it will be. I think in another couple of months it'll be done, and then. But it's coming out as blog posts as well, so there's tons of blog posts queued up at this point.
It's like a year's worth of blog posts.
Are you going to have the majority of your book in blog posts? I'm just curious about how much of the book content I should put on my blog.
The whole thing is going to be in blog posts.
Yeah. So, John, before you commit to that, you might want to research the Kindle restrictions, because Kindle, there's certain programs, I think it's Kindle Select or something, where they won't let you have more than 10 or 20% duplicate content, and they have spiders that crawl the web and look for the content. So you'll get like kicked out basically of the program. So I'm not sure, I can't remember what program that is, but it would be worth looking into if we care.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I'd care so much. The advantage of having the blog content will probably outstrip anything, even the book itself, just because of the traffic that and the SEO on that. And then I would probably just like let them bust me, essentially, right, until they bust you.
Okay.
If they do. You're also going to have editing, so the content is not going to be quite duplicate. It's going to be changed, right? So it's I don't know. It's possible that you can.
Jeff Bezos is going to show up at your door. He's going to get lowered from 4 little drone copters.
Yes.
Well, the thing is that I don't know. I know people that have basically published their entire book online and still sell it on Amazon.
Yeah, you can. It just depends. You can definitely do that. It's just a matter of there's certain Kindle programs that get you a lot more exposure,
Right.
And if you participate in those, it can't be like duplicate.
Oh, okay. So you can
Yeah.
sell it and
You
publish it online, but you can't be part of these other.
Totally. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm definitely not worried about market saturation as far as like offering something for free and then charging for it for a couple of reasons. One, just because of market saturation itself, because of the percentage, how many developers read Simple Programmer blog? I mean, out of the world, right? Less than 1%, guaranteed. I mean, less than half a percent, less than 0.01%, right? There's a lot of developers out there. I don't have any kind of, qualms about thinking that, everyone knows who.
Well, the other thing is unless you go out there and you say, this is this bit of this book, and this is this other bit of this book, and blah, 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 and they know that the whole book will be on your blog, and they're consistently finding all of the posts to read all of the posts, and blah, blah, blah. What will actually happen is they'll read the couple of posts that are really relevant to them. They'll see your link in there that says, this was derived from this book that I'm now selling on Amazon, and they'll go buy it.
Yeah, totally.
It's convenient.
It's the convenience factor.
Yeah.
And it's also you've provided this value for free. I want to support you.
Yep.
There's a guy that I used to be in contact with back in my Backbone days named Chris Strom. His Twitter handle is EEE_C. He has published 4 or 5 books this way, where literally every single book was blog posts, and he writes a blog post a day until the book is done, and then he publishes the book. Yeah. And he's had distribution with Pragmatic Programmers. He's done self-published books with LeanPub. He's produced a lot of books this way, so he might be a good person to reach out to and ask questions on these fronts, see if he's done anything with Amazon, and see what his general experience is with publishing the blog posts that become a book.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's also occurring to me, talking to you guys about reaching out to people, is that I actually know quite a few people that I could probably do some webinars with and other things to make this really take off.
Yeah. I'm also going to do the audio, too, of the book.
Yeah.
The soft skills audiobook outstrips the print book by a huge amount now. It ends up, the soft skills audio, so when you look at the Amazon top 10 lists of software development books, the soft skills version, the audio version of soft skills ends up in the top 10 all the time, whereas the print one doesn't anymore. So that outstrips it. And then tons of people who bought the print bought the audio as well. So again, with duplicate content, with free content, if someone likes the content, they'll pay for the convenience factor. Plus we can throw additional, the book will obviously have additional editing, revise probably a few more chapters that weren't published, and and then a package deal when we do videos or something to go along with it. So I think there's definitely reasons why I don't see it hurting the sales. Yeah. I think it will help the sales actually. So.
Yeah, I think an audio version makes a lot of sense, and you can also package them. I see people do that often as well if you self-publish. They buy the ebook package with the audiobook included.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, by the way, we were talking about exposure. I was hiking. Did I say this already? And some guy was like, "Oh, I got to shake your hand. I watch your YouTube videos." So that was pretty funny.
Nice.
Random. So there, I guess exposure is bigger than but still, even in the exposure, for all of us, we don't have any kind of competition. We don't have any kind of exposure, market saturation problem. I think we can do whatever we want, and we don't have to worry about it. Because you're never going to bite into your own profits.
Yep.
When you're Apple, then it's different.
True.
So we also had remember last week when Josh and I were talking about the roller coaster of doom? Now we're on the uptick.
Yeah.
We've been doing $1,000 a day in sales.
Wow.
Yeah, we're
nice.
We're closing in. I think there's a pretty good chance we'll hit 3,000 for the month today.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We did 1,000
yeah,
yesterday and 1,000 the day before, I think,
we're
around
at
that.
24. We're at 24, 23 since the month started.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whereas,
So
yeah, last
we're-
month we had like 0 at like day 4.
yeah, I really think that the issue was, I think it was mostly around the SSL switchover that we did. We turned on SSL for all of the blog posts.
Yeah.
And I think that there was like, so I had a weird thing happen yesterday. I was working on, so I'm working on merging, I'm working on taking SublimeTextTips.com and basically turning it into a, well, keeping it as Sublime, so I decided I'm going to keep it as SublimeTextTips.com. We're going to set up a huge full year-long autoresponder with newsletters, and then they'll kind of like taper off after that, and then every newsletter is going to have some kind of ad for Simple Programmer. So basically, Simple Programmer will be the sponsor for SublimeTextTips.com, and we'll be building our email list from that subscriber base rather than merging them. We still might, I mean, there's still a chance I might want to merge them in the future, but the other thing that this does for us is it gives us, when we sell sponsorships to Simple Programmer, we have this other list of 65,000 that we can talk about, and basically roll that together into one package. So it's kind of, we're going to have, like, it's our first like in-network site, basically.
Yeah.
Right. So you basically have an outpost, and you're offering them space at the hotel, and at the, and you know, we can quarter some of you at the outpost as well.
Yeah. So I had this weird thing happen though, because I switched over Sublime Text Tips to use Thrive instead of SumoMe, but like a day or a day and a half after I had turned off SumoMe, I got another subscriber through SumoMe. So I think that there's like this long tail of like weird caching issues that happen when you, because I'm not using a CDN, I'm not using any, that site is just pretty straightforward. I think I turned off the WordPress plugin entirely, so there's no way that the pop-ups could have shown from SumoMe, but I got a subscriber through that. And it was weird. So I think with Simple Programmer, we had the SSL cut over, and I think that just caused havoc. I think I think it was all invisible to us, like we couldn't see, but probably pop-ups weren't showing, you know, people were getting weird messages when they came to the site. It was just, I think it just made a mess. Yeah. And now we're past that. So our opt-in rate for that entire month of May was like abysmal. It was like we were averaging, so I was really confused because I'd done all this work to optimize the site, and I went in, I took our top 4 or 5 blog posts, I added content upgrades to those, and some of those content upgrades are converting at like 6, 7, 8%. Okay, so like our top blog posts went from producing nothing to converting at 6, 7, 8%, and our overall like subscriber rate went down. I was like, what the heck? Yeah. So we went from like, we were getting around 70 to 80 subscribers a day. Then I do all this optimization work, and now we're getting 50 subscribers a day. And it's like, what would have happened? Like, I was like despondent. I was like, what would have happened if I hadn't done all that optimization work? We would have been getting like 20 or 30 signups a day. And I really think it had to have been the SSL, because typically our site-wide conversion rate in Thrive was like between 2 and 2.5%. And then during May, it was like less than 1.5%. It was just really bad. And then now we're back up. We bounced back, and we've been seeing like 3 to 3.5%, even close to 4% for the last like 10 days or so. Yeah. So I think that's actually where I would expect it to be, given all the work that I did. Yeah, like today we're at 2.5%. That's like the lowest I've seen in a while. But yeah, like that. So I'm hopeful that rate's going to stick, because that's what I was expecting to see, not for it to drop off by like 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, we're it looks like the Java Code Geeks email blast that we did. We still haven't turned a profit on it, but I think we're going to. So we're getting some more sales from that. So that was cool. That we basically grew our list by about 7% just instantly, and I think it'll be profitable right away. So we are going to do that again and again and again.
So yeah, so everything turned around. In fact,
Yeah.
the promotion that we did with Dan Martell too. Remember, I think last Friday we had sold 1.
Right.
No, we ended up with 8. So, which is actually not bad.
Yeah. So yeah, we actually ranked pretty well overall. We ranked right behind some of the really top dog internet marketers for that. Yeah, so that came. We were totally basically all those sales came in on the last day.
Yeah.
So we pretty much had given up hope on that one too, and it turned around. So.
Yeah. So crisis averted and lesson learned. You will, if you're an entrepreneur, you will always be on the roller coaster. There's
always.
No, this time, John, we're past it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
We're past it this time.
Absolutely.
I'll never worry about this again. It will never shake me to my core. And
I will never burn my business to the ground again and question every life decision I have ever made while I get 0 subscribers for another 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yep. You just got to muster on, push through, keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
But.
Yeah, that really sucked. I think what was so hard about that was I mean, it was just the way everything hit at once. It was like the Dan Martell thing. We spent, I put 2 solid weeks of work into that, and that went nowhere at first. And we thought that was going nowhere, and the opt-ins were down. It was just literally everything I care about was just failing. We weren't selling anything. The email list was dying on the vine. This other promotion was terrible. Ugh. So I don't know. Hopefully we're past that. We won't turn off SSL. We're not going to screw with that anymore.
No. Yeah. I finally turned SSL on for DerekBailey.com last week. I've had DerekBailey.com for a couple of years now. I've been running with WordPress, but never had SSL because I didn't want to pay for it, basically. I got Let's Encrypt working on it. I'm using Let's Encrypt for both Watch Me Code and for DerekBailey.com now.
Yeah.
It's pretty slick. I really like it. And it's nice to not have to pay for the SSL certificate, to just be able to get it done and not worry about it ever again. I've got a cron job set up that will check to see if I need to update it and automatically update it every week. So it's only like a 90-day certificate, but checking every week, as soon as I get down to less than 30 days before it expires, it'll issue me a new one.
Can I have that script?
Yeah, it's just Google, what was it, DigitalOcean's how to install on Ubuntu.
Oh, they have the script.
DigitalOcean, yeah. Let's encrypt Ubuntu. I will post to how to secure Nginx with Let's Encrypt and Ubuntu. I'll post this into the chat.
Can you do wildcard certificates, or do you have to do per subdomain?
Yep. No, you can do totally wildcard. You can do as many subdomains as you want in a single certificate, or wildcards, or whatever you want to do.
Oh wow.
Yep,
okay.
It's pretty slick. So that link in the chat window for anybody listening. If you just Google DigitalOcean Nginx Let's Encrypt Ubuntu, it should bring you to the How to Secure Nginx with Let's Encrypt Ubuntu, or with Let's Encrypt on Ubuntu 14.04. And that's the DigitalOcean.com community blog post that I follow. And it's a really simple blog post to go through. I literally copied and pasted everything directly out of this blog post, and it all worked for me.
All right, I'm going to set up a short link. If you go to devchat.tv/do-let's encrypt,
There you go.
then I'll have that set up before the show ends. That way people can...
Perfect.
But
yeah, I have a plugin in WordPress called PrettyLink.
Yeah, I use PrettyLink on a couple of I think on the Watch Me Code site as well. I got PrettyLink Pro. I paid for it. It was so worth it. Just I like paying for things that I use a lot. So that one and the Advanced Custom Fields. I didn't know that Advanced Custom Fields had a Pro paid option. Like you can't see it on their website. They don't advertise it.
Yeah.
There's like this one link at the top that says Pro, and that's it. And so there was a bug with a WordPress upgrade a month or two ago, and I went and looked and filed the support request, and they're like, oh, this only affects the free version. The Pro version doesn't have this bug. I'm like, what? You have a Pro version? I would have paid for this so long ago if I had known. Please.
I like this. I like this. You release the buggy free version, and then
exactly.
if you want the tested code, you pay.
That's right.
So I have another question related to blogging, because Derek, I know you do blogging at derekbailey.com.
Yep.
And then you have watchmecode.net that has all of the paid videos and stuff. And I've kind of been going back and forth as to whether or not I want to create blog stuff over at devchat.tv or whether I should try and revive charlesmaxwood.com.
For me, it was probably the wrong decision to split them apart, because the content between the two so very directly overlaps all the time. There's very little that I put on derekbailey.com that is not relevant to the Watch Me Code audience. So if I had to do this all over again, I would probably keep them one and the same site. But for historic reasons, having Watch Me Code started back in 2010, 2011, and then derekbailey.com only being revived in 2014, or whenever it was, they are separate. It kind of comes down to your focus and your goals with the content. Like, I would not put crochet videos and crochet tutorials on my Watch Me Code site. I might on derekbailey.com, because it's Derek Bailey, it's me, it's everything I'm into. But if your focus is on content that would be relevant to the DevChat audience, I would recommend putting it on the DevChat website so that you can have better SEO and more inroads from Google and everything else.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of wanting to blog about stuff that is primarily focused around the same kinds of things we talk about on the devchat.tv.
Yeah, then I'd go that route. Keep it all one domain.
Yeah. Yeah, if you split it, you'll also be splitting your focus and then the amount of content that you create. I mean, trying to create enough content for one site is difficult enough.
Yeah, it is.
Splitting that is going to make it more difficult.
So the other question I have, and this is more of a WordPress setup kind of question that Derek may or may not know the answer to, but I would like my blog posts then to be at devchat.tv/blog/whatever. Can I do that without putting everything else under /blog/something? So in the settings, you have your permalinks.
Yeah, the permalink.
Does that only affect the post type?
Yeah, the permalink primarily affects the blog posts. You're going to have to adjust your code for your custom post types to not use the permalink location. I'm pretty sure that's possible, but I'm not entirely sure, because you don't want your shows to end up
/Ruby-Rogue/ that's what I'm worried about.
The other thing, I mean, there's really not a huge compelling reason to have it /blog.
That's true.
So you could just, like, if you don't do that, you can still have /blog as be like the homepage for the blog, and then everything else would just be devchat.tv/
the content post
my blog
whatever
post title.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't matter. I differentiate the rest of the shows though by that
Right.
subdirectory structure or whatever you call it. I don't know what it is anymore.
Yeah.
But
Well, also consider that a blog post is just a post type.
yes.
So if you really want /blog, just create a custom post type for that.
I've thought about doing that and then just hide the posts
Yeah.
Link
You
in
could
the
you
admin.
could keep the standard posts for experimenting and for things that you don't want under the /blog category, but it's not a page.
Yeah, because the homepage shows the shows.
Yeah.
So if you go to the homepage, you're not going to see links to any of the posts. I kind of like that. I've been toying with doing that, but
yeah, I think that's probably the route I would go. Is creating.
It seems like the simplest option. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, most people with WordPress, they're just going to use the custom, the built-in.
Yeah, the standard post and page types. Yeah.
Exactly, but for the customization that we're talking about, I think it makes sense for you to create a custom post type for your blog.
Yep.
Well
Cool.
then.
Everyone's checking their phone.
I don't have anything else to talk about. The thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I'm doing that webinar, the Gentle Intro to Functional Programming, Functional JavaScript on Monday. So 3 days from recording this, Chet and I did a quick rundown. I think I mentioned this a little bit ago. And we've got a pretty good idea, and I think this is going to turn out really well. At the moment, I have... Come on, page load. 368 people registered for this. I've sent out one reminder email about this already and seem to have pretty good open rates on that. So I'm expecting a couple of hundred people to actually show up, and then the full 368 people will be able to watch this. As soon as it's done recording, they'll just go into the Crowdcast and watch it. But I am going to make this one for free up on the Watch Me Code site, and I talked with Chet about making this a paid series overall. So the second and third ones that we do are going to be paid. We agreed on on payment for him. Basically, I'm going to send him a sum of money after each episode, after each webinar that we do, and then the rest of them will become a paid part of Watch Me Code. I also got in touch with Manning, the publisher Manning, and they are sending me a discount code to use for their functional programming in JavaScript book. So I'm going to send that I'm going to talk about it a tiny bit in the webinar, and then I'm going to send that discount code as a follow-up email to everybody that is registered for this. So it'll be a nice little bonus for everyone. And I'll use that kind of as a segue to talk about the additional benefits that Watch Me Code subscribers get, because there's other Manning books that you can get discounts for on the Watch Me Code site if you're a subscriber, and other benefits on there as well. So I think there's going to be a good segue from all of this into a pretty good email sequence to pitch Watch Me Code to the people that attend this.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm nervous but excited at the same time. I think if Chet and I can get ourselves into a groove with good conversation flowing, this should go really well. And there's so much content for us to talk about. We're limiting this session to like 30 minutes of he and I talking, and then we're going to do Q&A for 20 to 30 minutes after that. But then we're going to dig deeper into more subject matter in the second one, and more subject matter in the third one as well. So I think in the end, there's going to be a lot of really good content for functional programming and JavaScript in this.
Nice. That's good. I think it should do well. I think it's a good idea. So yeah, be curious to see. So next week you'll be able to report the results then.
Yep.
It's nice.
Just to set your expectations on that, I thought I heard you say you're hoping to get a couple hundred people show up. I would say 60 to 90 is probably what you're going to get.
Okay.
So
like the
25%
rule, yeah.
Yeah, 25 to 30% is pretty good, or 20 to 30% is.
I'll probably send out another reminder email Monday morning, and then Crowdcast will send out an email 10 minutes before it starts.
Okay. Yeah, just so you don't, and people will trickle in too. Like it'll fill up for the first 15 minutes or so.
Right.
So you don't sit there and there's 10 people on there and you're questioning your existence.
Yeah, we'll get it started and we'll pretend that the room is full. And
Yep.
We'll just move on, because it'll fill up like you said, and for the people that watch afterward, they won't know.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's about it for me.
I think there was something I was going to bring up here, but I forgot what it was now. That's very.
Oh, I guess the one other thing, that Thrive Ultimatum plugin that they have now.
Yes.
My ticket that I opened with them, every day I'm getting at least 2 or 3 more +1s. I really want this.
Sweet. Okay, great.
Yeah, so hopefully they will listen to their audience and actually.
What you need to do is tell them to fix this or else.
Exactly. So yeah, if Thrive can put in the same kind of webhooks that Deadline Funnel has, I would probably drop Deadline Funnel. I love Deadline Funnel. It's amazing at what it does, and I'm using the crap out of it. But the extra features with the pop-ups and the banners and the full integration with Thrive just makes it so much better. If it will allow me to start the funnel, to start the deadline through a webhook instead of requiring a user visiting the page or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of a deal breaker.
Yep.
Oh, so I pissed off the world again this week with the post on ADHD.
I saw your post on ADHD.
Oh man, someone picked it up and put it on. I got a bunch of unsubscribes, and then someone put it on like the Reddit ADHD forum, and that was just like it was scary. Like I feel like someone might just come and kill me. But it was also so sad because there were so many people there that were just like, it was just like, oh, they had such futile outlooks on life. I was like, man, how can you like just really think that there's no hope in life and be so cynical? But oh, gosh, yeah, Reddit just always it always shocks me. So
yeah, Reddit and Hacker News are just cesspools of negativity.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, people who have anything that's even perceived as a disability, you know, not getting into the argument over whether or not ADHD is a disability, I think it really depends on your experience and how severe it is and how it affects you and things like that. But I have to agree with you to a certain point that I know that some people in particular use these things that they perceive as disabilities or injustices to basically talk themselves out of trying, and that just sucks. And you know, so to that degree, I completely agreed with you. Though, you know, I know some people that are strongly adversely affected, where other people, you know, they've either figured out how to deal with it, or anyway.
Yeah, people do that with a lot of stuff. I mean, I know I have people in my immediate family who basically have taken on the identity of we are poor. Right? And then like anytime anytime they start to hear about someone being successful, or like someone coming from nothing to actually, you know, having money, they get really it's like you're attacking their identity.
Crabs in a bucket.
Because it's like no longer you're attacking their excuse. And so the response, even if you're not necessarily even arguing with them, but like you mention something casually and like the response is like nuclear compared, you know, it can really catch you off guard.
It was funny too because Someone actually commented on one of the Reddit threads on the ADHD. They said, "Oh, it's just that guy's like crabs in a bucket."
What?
I know. And then someone else said, "No, it's more like he's got to the top of the rim of the bucket and he's crapping on all the other crabs in the bucket." And I was like, "Damn, skipping, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, asshole." That's exactly like if you don't want to. It's like you're gonna put your claw up to try and grab my ass. You're gonna get some shit in your face. So yeah, I'll help you. You want to help, but if you don't want help, then you can take the other.
I've been having this kind of conversation with my daughter for the last couple of months, and it happened again yesterday, where trying to think of what the situation was. I asked her to do something. I don't remember what it was, and she was already upset, and she's crying and she's saying, I can't, and I know with certainty that this is something she can very easily do. She is physically capable of doing whatever the task was, and she's so upset at this point that she won't let herself, essentially, and so I'm trying to get her calmed down and trying to get her to understand that the more she tells herself that she can't, the more she won't let herself try. When she continuously tells herself I can't, she is doing nothing more than refusing to let herself try. And so I'm trying to coach her, slowly but surely, little by little, to change the phrase I can't into I will try, but I need help. Yeah. If I can get her to say that, then that mentality starts to sink in, and we start to make real progress on things where she's just absolutely refused to try to do because she thinks that she won't be able to do it perfectly, therefore she'll never be able to do it, therefore why bother, therefore I can't. So it's breaking out of that mindset. It can be so incredibly difficult, especially if you're older than 10 years old. If you have that mentality beat into you your whole life,
yep,
and that's what you believe your whole life, it's so difficult. So I'm really that's something that I'm really struggling with my daughter. I totally know where she gets that from. She gets that mostly from my wife, but also partially from me. I very much had that kind of mentality when I was little. I eventually figured out, oh, well, this is stupid. I'm just going to try, and I'm going to, and if I suck, oh well, eventually I'll figure it out. But, and I'm not saying that you can have that positive mental attitude about absolutely everything. There will be certain things that you just literally cannot do and will never be able to do, and that's fine. But you can't put these limitations on yourself and expect to have a great life when you have when you put limitations on a legitimate disability. Yeah, your disability may keep you down in certain respects and may cause problems in your life, but don't add to your existing disability with the wrong mental approach, the wrong aspects, the wrong way of thinking about it.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking, it's funny, I was thinking about this guy. Like, I just saw this video on the internet where this guy, he had no arms and he was doing archery.
Right.
with his feet. And I'm like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, but whatever you're claiming, it's really hard for me to to just pat you on the back and be like, all right, it's okay then. I know, I understand. You got ADHD, it's fine. You just suck. You're just fucked, man. You're just screwed, right? When there's a guy that is using his feet to shoot bullseye, I'm I get what you're saying. It's harder for you. It's 5 times harder. Fine, I agree.
100 times harder. Sure, no problem.
Man, but you just gonna have to work 5 times harder, right?
Exactly.
What else can I say? You can either give up on all your dreams, that's fine, and just accept whatever your crappy, shitty life is going to be, or you can work 5 times harder. I don't know. Up to you. You don't want to work 5 times harder? That's cool. I'm not going to judge you, but don't tell other people they can't do it. That's the thing. It's fine. You want to sit on the couch and be miserable and say that your life sucks. totally cool. I'm fine with that. But just don't tell other people that they can't do it, because that guy with no arms that's like an archery master, like if someone would have come along and gave him the wrong message at the wrong time, his life might have been suicidal, or he might have been sitting on he might have not done what he was capable of doing. So
I mean, we all have limitations. There are going to be things that we just can't do, but you can't put such a huge mental barrier in front of things that you legitimately could do.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that I hear people talk about, well, it's unfair, and we need to make it fair. And so we need to make everybody else kind of chip in to make it fair. And part of me I just have this visceral reaction to it, because it's like, look, the dude has no arms. Whose fault is it? Right. Well, it's not my fault, so, I shouldn't be compelled to chip in. Now I may because I care, but, it doesn't mean that the rest of the world now has to take care of your problem.
Yeah, all of that is so situational as well.
It's true, but still.
There are so many cases where, that is totally unfair. It sucks. What are you going to do about it? What are you, the person complaining about it, going to do about it?
Yeah. I mean, if the cost for making it quote-unquote fair was zero, then we just do it. But, it's one thing to say, this could be more fair. It's another thing to say that it's Derek's responsibility or Josh's responsibility to make it fair, or to be part of the solution, where, maybe somebody is inclined to do it and has the resources to do it and the know-how to do it and can make that difference. But there's so much entitlement out there too. Well, I graduated from college and I couldn't get a job easily. Or, we've had all of these... Did you apply
at McDonald's? Did you apply at Best Buy?
We've had all of these movements all over the place where people think that it's just supposed to be automatic and that it's unfair because they didn't get what they thought they deserved. And the reality of the situation is like, look, the rest of us work for it too, and that's fair. And even if it's not, it's none of our fault, and so we have no responsibility for making reparations to you because it didn't turn out the way you wanted.
Yeah.
But there are people out there who really do want to help you out, and if that's if you can find one of those people, then more power to them.
Right.
Yeah, and it's facing reality. What is the current reality? That's the whole thing. Like, one of the reoccurring themes I'm always talking about in YouTube videos too is just this idea of like, the more clear that you can see reality, the better. Like, look in the mirror honestly and evaluate yourself. That's how you can actually improve. That's how you can actually, like, you don't want to hide from reality. And even in the fairness side of it, it's going to work on both sides. Sometimes things are going to be totally unfair against you, quote unfair against you, and sometimes they're going to be totally unfair for you. And so that kind of, you're going to have places where you're going to have super advantages that are unfair as well. So, I mean, do you want those taken away from you? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't predict which one's going to happen, but yeah, it's unfortunate that so many people think that, that it's got to be, something has to be done just because it's unfair. And you know what? I mean, a lot of people disagree with me, but I think adversity is the greatest advantage that you could possibly have in your life, because the more adversity that you face, the stronger that you become. And adversity crushes some people. Yes, I agree. It totally does, and it limits people and stops them. But the people that it doesn't crush, those are the people that become 10 times better than anyone else, that go beyond any expectations. And when I look at, and it's funny too, like when I look at even just like my own life, like with the things that, because especially I got so much flack with the ADHD post, and I was like, well, look, I actually did overcome it. Like, I did have that disadvantage, and and I've used it to my advantage. I had anxiety, severe anxiety, which I self-medicated, self-cured. You know what I mean? I had phobias, right? I mean, you guys all know, and I cured those phobias, with this mindset, right? And hell, in the physical side, I tore my pec, like complete pec tear, and the doctor said, "Oh, you're never going to bench again." But I was like, "Screw you! I'm going to do it anyway." And now I can bench 300 pounds. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like all these things. Like, I could have at any one of those points said, "Oh, well, that's just the way it is. It's unfair, and I'm screwed." Or I could fight, and maybe there's going to be battles that I'll fight that I won't be able to win. But I'm gonna fight it out till I die, to the end, and give it my best shot. And then if I don't make it, at least I gave it my best shot. But so many people are giving up before they've even given it their best shot, and that's the thing that I don't like. That's the thing that pisses me off, is because that message gets spread and
it drives me crazy
okay
when my daughter says I can't.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you won't. You won't let yourself try.
Yeah. It's funny. I had the same thing, Derek, with my daughter was trying to draw like a butterfly. I recorded a YouTube video. And I was talking about trusting the process.
Yeah.
Like, just forgetting about. I mean, it's the same thing that we need to hear as entrepreneurs, right? Is this
totally.
idea of, like, stop focusing on the results. Stop thinking that you can't. Just like go and fail a bunch. Just go and do it. Just trust it. Know that you're going to get better if you keep on trying. But it's easy to get hung up in the results. Everyone is. I think we're just wired that way. So
yeah.
Yep.
So thoughts for the week then? I'll go with the stop saying I can't and start saying I will try, but I need help.
Yep. So my thoughts, basically, I've been reading a book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And it's really kind of driven home to me the fact that for a long time I sort of saw the podcasts and the other things that I'm doing as a way to make money, or just a concept where we just talk about code. So we all get together and talk about code. And I've started to realize that there's more of a why behind things than just hanging out and chatting. And for me, it comes down a lot. It's kind of hard for me to put completely into words, but I feel like a lot of the major changes that we've had in the world over the last 10 years basically boil down to technology in a lot of ways. I mean, we've become much more connected, and
or at least facilitated by technology.
Yeah, a lot of industries have changed, some more than others because of technology. And so the thing that I see is that it's not just about helping people be better programmers and be happier programmers, though that is a part of it. I see that as accomplishing those goals, but those goals are a part of a larger goal, which is I really feel like we are influencing the people who are going to change the world over the next 20 or 30 years in programming. And so seeing that and empowering people, giving people the tools, and the tools could be self-confidence, or the tools could be I've mastered Emacs. But whatever those tools are, we're giving them the tools to make whatever change to the world and change to the future that they're going to make. So that's kind of been my thought, and I really feel like that's going to change a bit of the way that I focus on the things that I'm doing now. But I guess my thought just comes down to, and the book is terrific as far as explaining how having a why makes a difference, and then how to figure out what your why is. And so I just will encourage people. I guess I'm promoting the book, but just figure out what that is. Why do you do what you do? And then from there, it'll naturally flow out into what you're doing and how you're doing it. And that is going to be the movement that you lead and the difference that you make.
I think mine for this week is going to be restating the idea that you don't know anything until you teach it.
Yes.
Or perhaps the best way to learn something is to teach it. So just working through this whole email course process with Derek has been really helpful for me. I'm also working on a blog, like a guest blog post for SumoMe about it. So between those two things, the back and forth between me and the editor and me and Derek has really helped me crystallize some things, and I'm still trying to get it to where it's simplified enough to where I think it'll be really helpful for people. But yeah, like I'm learning a ton about this just by going through that process. So highly recommended.
There's the old adage of those who can't do teach, which is completely, totally backwards wrong. The reality is those who can't teach do.
Yeah. I guess I would say there's a bunch to select from, but I think I'm going to go with this idea of that, you know, a lot of people say they want something, right? And I get this a lot of times on my YouTube comments, like I want to make money, or I want to be a programmer, or I want to get girls, or whatever it is, right? There's all these I want this, and this is my life would be complete. You know, I would love if I could have this, if only I could do this, if only I could. But you say you want something, but then your effort level is a 1 or a 2, right? It's not a 10. And so, like, before you say I can't, dovetailing what Derek said, before you say I can't, check your effort level. If you've put a 10 in, if you've turned it up to 11, and you're not able to achieve what you want, then maybe you could say I can't. Then maybe you could say, yeah, it's just not in the cards. But if you're not willing to go to level 10, then maybe you don't want what you think you want so much, right? Maybe what you don't really want it. Because if you really want it, what are you willing to do for it? Because I don't know about you guys, but every single thing that I've really wanted, that I've turned up my effort level to a 10, I've gotten. I believe I can get anything that I want. Because I've never seen an instance where I've turned something up to level 10 of commitment, level 10 of effort, and not achieved it. So I think most people that say that they want something, they don't really want it. They don't want it bad enough. I guess that's what I would say, is how bad do you actually want it? Because if you want it bad enough and you're telling me you're not willing to put your effort up to level 10, then sorry, then you must not want it that bad, because, you know, why would you not? So that's it. That's my rant.
Nice.
All right, guys. I've got to go to the border to get my global entry.
Have fun.
Alrighty.
All right. Just so you all know, I'm probably going to miss the next few because I'm going to be on the road next Friday, and I'm going to be at a family reunion the Friday after. So.
Okay.
All right. The summer attrition begins.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe I'll be here. So.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.